The setbacks in life. Setbacks, the things that hold you back from what you're aiming for. Right when you're about to reach the goalpost, you get turned around by something unexpected. We all have them. It's something that really is the reality of life. You're never going to always get to your destination in a straight line. There's always going to be something. If you get there in a straight line, you're very lucky, very blessed to do so. But there's always going to be things that throw you off your goal and throw you off your aims. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So I just had two big setbacks that completely derailed my workout goals for my gymnastics rings, my goals for my business and marketing, my goals for hiring a new employee, my health, and also just my goals for reading books. So everything got thrown. What happened was about 6 weeks ago, I got sick, and my son brought it home from daycare. And if you're a parent and you put your kids in daycare, you know that when they come back, they're going to be really sick, and they got some nasty bugs. And so my son gave it to me, and he gave it to my wife, and then he got it again after he got it from one of us. So it rotated through our house. And what happened was I had to still take care of him because my wife was pregnant. She was already 9 months pregnant. And I had to make sure that I took care of the house, took care of my son, and took care of my wife. Mind you, I had zero cardio and zero lung capacity. Walking from one side of this room to another would give me a coughing fit. And it was bad. And this was for 2.5 weeks. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go to work, and I had to just help out as best I can and try to rest in the meantime. And that was really, really tough. So exercise goals gone. Couldn't work out. That's it. And that takes a lot. Couldn't do my breathing exercises. Gone. Couldn't breathe anything. It was awful. And then I couldn't go on my early morning walks. That's gone with my son. Gone. So all stress, de-stressing stuff, forget it. It's not there. You're just going to have to deal with that. And that's how it was. And then the pressure of trying to keep my emotional state together when I was having trouble catching a breath because of the coughing, that was really rough. So I definitely had my moments with my wife, and she had her moments with me too. And then just having to take care of my son, who's, gets heavy and run around and try to grab him and do everything was very, very hard, with that kind of lung capacity. So that was pretty bad. And it wasn't COVID. I took a COVID test the Saturday of the first week that I was sick, which was like 3 days in. I was negative, and my wife was negative. So it was just a very bad bug. And I couldn't go to work because I didn't want to spread it since I do martial arts. So that was out. So a lot about my life and the stability of my emotional state was gone. And that lasted for about 2.5 weeks. When I was still starting to recover, I had another unexpected thing. Well, expected, but unexpected at this time. My wife went into labor. And so we had to get the baby taken care of and make sure everything was good. And that day I was so self-conscious because I was coughing in the hospital. I wasn't as bad because it was at the latter part of it, but I was still coughing in the hospital, and that's not fun when you're there for hours and you think people are looking at you. So anyway, luckily they didn't give me a mask, but we were there and everything went well with the delivery, which was a big blessing because my first son, crazy story, he was 9 weeks early and we were in a different state when that happened. Completely different state. We were in Boston, Massachusetts. So crazy. But it was really hard emotionally, physically. And, once the baby came, I still couldn't sleep well. So we had to take care of the baby. And I wasn't able to sleep properly because I was coughing at night. I was waking up multiple times a night, and that was really rough. And then my first son, gets sick again in the middle of the second week. And so I'm waking up to give him nebulizer treatments, and I'm waking up to help out my wife with the new baby. So I'm waking up 6 times a night to try to do this and not getting sleep, because when the day comes, you got to take care of the kids. And if my son is sick, he can't go to daycare. So he was out for a week at daycare. And so everything was derailed. Reading luckily was still going, but the momentum was gone. And it was just going. Momentum is gone. And so you got to be able to work with it. So we had all of this over the course of 6 weeks. And what did I try to do in that time? Well, I tried to keep my head. I tried to focus on the main aim of family, health, and doing my job and duty as a dad. And I really saw what I was made of during that time. And I saw where I have my moments of weakness with getting exhausted. And we were pushed, my wife and I, to those moments many times. But we made it through together. And we really did try very hard. And in that 6-week period, I tried to keep up my momentum with my Exodus from the Bible lecture. And I loved it, and I was listening to it, and I was writing notes, and I did my memory notes for the first half. I got to do it for the second half now. And I started reading How to Win Friends and Influence People again, because I assigned it at my school. So I did that, and I'm doing notes on that too. And I really found some more strength that I didn't know I had, and some initiative. And I learned that most things don't matter as much as you think. Most things that you want to do, don't matter as much as you think they do. And most things that are potential crises are not really crises. They're just issues that you got to take care of. And the better you can manage that in your head, the better it's going to be out there. And so that was really what I tried to do. It was manage the crises. Anything that I thought was a crisis, is it one? Is it not one? More often than not one. And so I did that, and I feel like I'm better off after. I'm ready to not worry as much because of all that was thrown my way so quickly, and how I had my moments and the things I had to learn from those. And then the next thing is I became a lot better at reading books and writing notes and recalling and writing down the notes that I recall so that I can really know them. And that was something really good. I also became very good at finding the moments to do things. Okay, before, if I wanted to work out, I needed X amount of time and I needed to go. Well, that didn't exist. I couldn't get 30 minutes. I couldn't get 45 minutes. I couldn't get an hour to myself. That was off the table. So I tried to find the little moments to do what I needed to. So whenever I was playing with my son and he wanted to play off over at his toys, he'd run over to his toys, and I would stretch when he was over there. And then when he'd come play with me, I'd play with him, and then he'd run away, and then he'd go play in his corner with all of his toys, and then I would stretch more. And I found that 15, 20 minutes to stretch. And then also, I would make a deal with my wife that no matter what, I have to work out. Even if I can get 10 or 15 minutes in, I've got to go do something because I'm better that day. And now I do that, and that keeps my momentum going instead of cutting it off, stopping it right there. So that's what I've been really trying to do. And it's made me better. And it's something that you can think about as well. Think about those times, because it's not going to be perfect, especially when you get more responsibility. You got to find the time to take care of yourself so you can take care of other people. You've got to find the time to enrich your mind with reading and writing notes and making sure it sticks. And so that is what I've really learned. And honestly, I've become more a man of faith as I've gotten older. And I believe in God, and if you believe in the divine spirit or whatever it is that you believe in, aiming to the highest good, that kept me going a lot, having faith that things were going to be okay. I once saw an Anthony Hopkins video where he just says, believe it, believe it, believe it. Even if you don't, believe it wherever you are, because you have to make sure that you're ready for it when it presents itself, and you won't be if you don't believe it. It's a wonderful speech. He talks about the shaman, but I think he says it's Carlos Castaneda, but I don't know if that's true. But he talks about that. If you haven't seen that video, watch it. So I really tried to believe it and have faith that everything was going to work. And now things are where I can make this video and also be able to exercise again, not to my fullest capacity, but we're getting there every day, one step at a time. So take this, make sure you use those setbacks to make your life better. Make your worst days your best days. And also subscribe if you would like. You can comment below. And if this really helped you, please comment below. And also, if you want to subscribe to my Patreon, I'll leave the link right below. And thanks. And I hope that this really helps you. All right? Bye-bye.